Just got back, Cooperstown. We went to the All-Star Village is where we were. Just got back last week, and this is my 4th time going. 2-time as a dad coach and 2-time as the zoned head coach of one of our 12U teams. So we're going to talk about the experience, the must-knows, the do's, and the don'ts in Cooperstown. So when you think about it, Cooperstown was so exhausting, yet it was exciting, it was challenging, it was fun, and it was ever shifting. And I'll explain that a little bit more as we go along. So if you can picture this, 12 players, 1 bunk, 4 coaches, 1, 2, 3, and sometimes even 4 games in one day. So some of the games started as early as as early as 7, and the games were 11 p.m. And depending on the rain and the situation, we had a game that started at 1 o'clock in the morning. So the dirt, the mud, the smells, we're going to talk about it all. Just remember this, coaches, before I talk about the actual itinerary of what the Cooperstown experience is all about. The memories, the smiles, you'll see tears, you'll see jokes. This is a time to remember for them. For a lot of these kids, it's the last time that they're actually playing on the small field. So have a blast, have fun with this. Appreciate the 12U player, their shortcomings, their attitudes. Remember, some of them have never been on their own ever before. Some of them have never changed themselves or dressed themselves or had to do any of these things. So just remember that and be as patient as you possibly can. What to expect. So day 1, all the kids come down 8 o'clock in the morning and the families are allowed to be there. So you're getting all the bunks ready. You're organizing the bunks. You're dedicating who gets what bunks, who's on the top, who's on the bottom, who's where, what's going on. And the beginning part of the morning is you kind of just getting ready, making sure that you have garbage bags, Febreze, tons of Sharpies to label everything, tape. They have to have pillows, their sheets, their shower shoes, toothbrushes, all those things. We'll give you a list as we go on, and you'll see it in one of the links of what you need. You can also go on Cooperstown All-Star Village, and it kind of gives you a little checklist. But making sure that you as a coach, when you get your bag, your equipment, it comes in a big garbage bag. You get all of your actual apparel, your uniforms. You have to sort them all out and give them to each kid. They have to make sure they Sharpie them with their name. You have to make sure you label them all and do it as soon as possible, because if you wait and a kid comes 2 hours later and you now need to go get a new uniform, it will take forever. So try to make sure you attack the uniform thing right off the bat. Another thing that can be problematic is the emergency forms. They ask and ask and ask for those. Make sure that you get those completed and filled out. Make sure you have a second copy of them in a folder that you bring, because the last thing you want is for little Johnny to not have his doctor form that he got his physical and he can no longer participate. So you have to make sure that that stuff is complete. Now we head and get ready for the parade. The parade is when we go. First you eat, you walk as a team, you hold up your banner, and it's also competition day. So make sure your players have the equipment that they need, and make sure you practice those competitions. There's a home run derby. There's a turn 2 competition. There's the relay race. And then there's a catcher's pop time. So there's some really cool things that happen on that first day. And once those parents leave on day 1, they're not allowed back until the last day. So make sure the kids have everything that they need. So day 2 is games. You're really day 2, day 3, and day 4. It's 2 games every single day. Now, if there's rain on day 1 and you only get 1 game in, well, that means that you're going to play 3 games on day 2. If you get rain again, there were some teams that played 4 games in 1 day. So you can just imagine what it's like getting the kids ready for batting practice, it raining, you going back to the bunk, trying to figure out when you're going to eat. It sounds exhausting and it sounds crazy, but they're very organized with the scheduling, and it changes and changes and changes. They have an app that they use that makes it so easy. They can communicate it with your parents. So just make sure that when you head out there, you realize that things are going to change, and just have a lot of fun doing it. So our games were super fun. The kids are going to remember the early wake ups, the breakfast, the home run derby in the room in between games. They're going to remember the home runs that were hit. They're going to remember the game balls. All these things are going to be so fun for the kids and for you as a coach. And, you know, one of the things that we did at the end of we talked about it on the very first day, and that was, I want you guys to think of these 3 questions. On day 4, we're going to ask you and you have to give your answer. Question number 1 was, what did you love most about the season? Question number 2, what was your most memorable moment in Cooperstown? And question number 3 was, what did you learn about this season? And all the kids had to think about that through the days, maybe write some notes down. And then on day 4, we actually had them say it out loud in front of their teammates of what that was. And you will really get an idea of what is inside a 12-year-old's mind when they're talking about, you know, the ride that they were on during the Father's Day tournament down in Seaside. That was their funnest moment. You won't hear, I hit a home run, I struck out 3 kids. You hear things that kids really think about when they think about a team, and you'll hear some really fun things. So those are some things that you can do and some exercises that you can do with them and to really get a good understanding. But have fun, have a lot of patience. Again, have fun again. Enjoy the moment on the small field because it might be, for most of them, the last time that they're ever on the small field. So enjoy the Cooperstown experience. I always say how much of a blast it is. Like I said, it's exhausting and it's very trying for your patience. But when those kids are giving you a hug at the end of the season and high fives and they're writing about how it was the most amazing experience they ever had, and then 7 years down the road, they're still talking about Cooperstown, know that you are the one that's going to impact what their memories truly are. So that was my Cooperstown experience. We had a blast. Hope that helps. That was Cooperstown.